And just one more from me. Beterbiev Bivol, the rematch. What a great fight that is in Saudi. How do you see that playing out?
It's gonna be a really good fight again. Both are great fighters.
As we just saw, Canelo and Dmitry Bivol working together is odd but not impossible. One would wonder what exactly Canelo Alvarez would be contributing to Dmitry Bivol, such as what guidance a loser would give a conqueror. We'll see soon. Their partnership reminds us of May 2022, when one of the biggest shocks in recent boxing history occurred. It was very similar to the fight between Mike Tyson and James Buyer Douglas in the 1990s. According to boxing analysts like Tim Bradley, many were quick to support Canelo Alvarez after the fight because they didn't know who he was. Today, we know him as the man who handed Canelo Alvarez his second defeat, making him only the second person to do so after the great Floyd Mayweather. Now the same man is searching for lost glory after suffering his maiden loss in an undisputed world light heavyweight championship match against Artur Beterbiev. He lost his title and his record, and he's trying to avenge his October defeat by teaming Canelo Alvarez in a few days. In a fight for all of the light heavyweight titles last year, Bivol finally experienced defeat for the first time in his boxing career when he lost to Artur Beterbiev on points. Despite the fact that many people think Bivol did enough to win, the judges didn't think so.
Do you see yourself fighting a light heavyweight again?
Maybe.
Bivol now has to start over, because losing to an unbeaten BBV shouldn't have a significant impact on his reputation, but it probably eliminates him from consideration for a big fight. A rematch has been offered, and he must demonstrate why he is among Floyd Mayweather's select few as the only man to defeat Canelo Alvarez. Turv and Bivol will fight for all 4 light heavyweight world titles on February 22 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, 4 months after their first encounter, in which Beterbiev won by majority decision to become the first undisputed champion at 175 pounds in more than 20 years. Some boxing fans disagreed with the ruling, arguing that Bivol should have been given a chance to defend himself, as another close fight is anticipated next month.
Beterbiev and Benavidez, who do you think is the biggest challenge for you?
Oh, Beterbiev.
Beterbiev?
Yeah,
why is that?
of course. Because he's a champion. He has something to offer me.
In an interview with Fight Hub TV, unified super middleweight champion Canelo expressed his opinion on the rematch, saying that it will be difficult to choose between the two fighters. They are both excellent combatants, although he is still the World Boxing Council, World Boxing Association, and World Boxing Organization super middleweight champion. Canelo did not rule out a return to the weight class above when asked if it would interest him. Canelo himself has experience competing in the 175 PB division, having defeated Sergey Kovalev to win the World Boxing Organization light heavyweight title in November 2019. He then returned to the weight class in May 2022 for a fight against Bivol himself for the World Boxing Association light heavyweight title, but this time he lost by unanimous decision.
Is there one person that comes to mind?
No.
Bivol, maybe, just to get the rematch? Bivol, maybe?
Bivol is one of the guys I have.
Speaking about Canelo Alvarez and Bivol, I might do so if Canelo advances to light heavyweight and a rematch with Bivol is possible. David Benavidez, Canelo's fiercest opponent, has expressed his opinion on who he believes would be more difficult for him to defeat between Canelo Alvarez and Dmitry Bivol, since he became the mandatory challenger to his World Boxing Council super middleweight title. The 28-year-old from Phoenix, Arizona, has been linked to a fight against the Mexican superstar for 2 years. However, despite Benavidez's persistence, a fight could not be held, so he moved up to light heavyweight.
My rematch now to like I say, if he wins the 175 undisputed.
With a strong start to his campaign at 175 pounds, Benavidez has won the interim World Boxing Council title and is now in a strong position to challenge Artur Beterbiev for the full World Boxing Council world title, which is currently held by the Russian sensation after he defeated Bivol last October to win the undisputed light heavyweight title. Their eagerly awaited rematch is scheduled for February 22 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. On February 1st, the monster returned to the ring and defeated David Morrell by unanimous decision, earning his 30th career victory and adding the World Boxing Association regular title to his collection. When David Benavidez defeated David Morrell by unanimous decision on February 1st, he demonstrated to the boxing world why he is one of the most feared pound-for-pound punchers. He has 30 victories in 30 fights with 24 knockouts.
Do you think he does?
I think so. He got the ability to do it. Beterbiev is a really strong fighter. It's going to be hard, but he can do it.
Although Novowitz lost the fight in the penultimate round, he had performed well enough on each of the 3 judges' cards to be deemed the legitimate winner. The judges' scores were 115-111, 115-111, and 118-108. Benavidez won Morrell's World Boxing Association light heavyweight regular title and kept his World Boxing Council interim title. But perhaps most significantly, he cemented his position as the undisputed light heavyweight champion, following Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol's eagerly awaited rematch on February 22nd. The winner of Beterbiev versus Bivol 2 hasn't always been at the forefront of Benavidz's thoughts, has it? Interview. For years, Benavidez maintained that he should have fought Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight. But since Canelo has never been interested in this matchup, Benavidez eventually switched his focus to light heavyweight. However, this did not mean that Benavidez has completely forgotten about Canelo, as demonstrated during his February 3rd appearance on the Ariel Helwani show. When asked who he would prefer to win the Beterbiev versus Bivol rematch, Benavidez stated, "I would pick Bivol because I would beat Canelo." Interview. He continued by saying, "I would absolutely love to fight Bivol because I know Dmitry Bivol very well, and we've sparred a lot. He's a great fighter. Maybe if Benavidez defeated Bivol in the future, Canelo would be persuaded to fight him." In a subsequent interview with Jim Lampley, the 28-year-old stated that a bout with Canelo would be simpler than one with Bivol. Interview. "Money is the only thing that the Canelo bout offers me. Since Bivol defeated Canelo Alvarez, I am aware that a battle with him is much simpler than one with Bivol." Later this year, Canelo is scheduled to defend his unified super middleweight championships against pound-for-pound sensation Terence Crawford. Benavidz's declaration last week that he would not go back to 168 pounds to fight Canelo supported his assertions that the sole benefit of a bout with the Mexican legend is financial gain. Interview. Obtained with BBV occasionally dealing with injuries, David Benavidez didn't hold back when expressing his thoughts on the highly anticipated light heavyweight bout between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Benavidez had some scathing things to say about the defending champion, Beterbiev, who is getting older and works out hard, lifting a lot of weights, so perhaps that's what's slowing him down. At the end of the day, I don't want to discuss what those men can and cannot achieve, but Benavidez stated that his chances of defeating Bivol are increasing as he gets thinner. Interview. The bout was broken by David Benavidez, who spoke to Shahzid, the newly crowned WBC interim light heavyweight champion and the front-runner for the title. Down talks about doing the herring and how, based on his experience sparring Bivol and being in with former BDB opponent Alexander Gick. It's Bivol, who has had one stoppage in his last 10 fights. Both fighters are incredibly talented, though Bivol is a boxer who moves around a lot. Bev is a terrible jerk who basically attacks you and takes shots to provide. Interview. What I'm looking at for this fight is that Bivol has the ability to hurt better than Bev, because BBV has been hurt by Alexander Guck. I've sparred both, and Bivol cracks harder than Alexander. It's going to be an interesting fight, and I think he has a good chance of winning if he stays upright the entire night and uses his jab, and then when they exchange, he stands his ground. However, when BBV gets his engine going, that mother freaker is a train. He has 19 fights, 19 knockouts, which is 50 by 50-50. Interview. Sean Porter, a former world champion, recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming match on his podcast. Porter expressed confidence in Bell's potential to defeat Moore, since previous occurrences have demonstrated our superiority. BF predicted that the fight would not end in the first few rounds. "I don't think he can catch up to Dmitry Bivol," said Porter, "because he's too damn disciplined, too much lateral movement, and too intuitive to be a good boxer. BF is going to take a lot of punches, as he always does." Porter thinks Bell's boxing prowess will be evident, but he notes that he frequently takes a lot of hits and may find it difficult to match BV's agility and discipline.